Hi everyone, I'm Marc Rodger. We're going to show you some uncut footage of me on the Match Lake. This footage has never been seen before. I've only got about 2 hours 20 minutes of it. It's not a full match, but what it is, it's a complete uncut 2 hours 20 minutes. So no hiding anything. And I'm going to talk you through the match. It might be really quite interesting to a lot of you. It might help you out in a situation where you maybe need to think outside the box and do something a little bit different. I'm doing really quite well in the festival, so I really need to knuckle down. I've actually drawn peg 36, which is an end peg. I'm absolutely over the moon with this peg. Okay, whistle's gone. I'm going to start on the 5 metre line. I'm going to feed about 4 or 5 pieces of 6 mil cubed meat. Obviously in my head at the minute I'm hoping that that line is just going to be really good, being an end peg. But this is Pollawyn Match Lake. Things aren't that easy on Pollawyn. I've never found this lake a particularly easy lake. You definitely have to work hard and also work it out. But I'm now feeding exactly the same. It's 16 metres towards the island. I'm just short of the island there. I'm about roughly about 1.5 metres, 2 metres short. If I could reach the island, it'd be brilliant. You know, that's where the fish want to be. They sit and they hug the island. I have got a long lining rig set up for it, you know, in case it is really tough and difficult. It's something I've got in my locker, and I'm quite disciplined where I'd be quite happy to do it if I have to do it. So I'm going to start on my 5 metre line on meat. I've only tapped a few pieces in, so I'm going straight out. Roughly, this is about 4 foot deep. So I'm just tapping some meat in, hoping I might get a really quick run of fish. It does sometimes happen on this lake. The section's a bit different today. It starts at Andy Power, peg 32. Andy's got a decent-ish area really. He's got a bit of open water. He could draw fish in. I think he's outrageously good at White Acres, so you never want him in your section. And I was definitely keeping a close eye on him, because if I knew if I could stay with Andy, I'd do well. I got a quick bite there, and it's a disastrous start. You know, it's a roach, 3 to 4 ounces. It's not a good sign. Definitely not what you're hoping for when you float berries. You want to lift up, and it wants to be a decent sized fish. So same again, 6 mil cube, going back out. We're just talking about the section. So yeah, Andy's on 32, and next to me, peg 34, chap called Nick. Then there's Andy on 32. There's peg 43, 48 and 52. Now, out of all them pegs, if you could pick a peg, you'd probably pick 43. But I was really pleased with my draw. I feel like I hold a few aces, you know, being an end. If I could trickle and catch an odd fish, then, you know, you just don't know how hard it's going to be. Pollawyn seems to get harder as the week goes on. Andy is literally just mugged a blondie there. He's just about to net it now. So not a bad start for Andy. Probably roughly about £2. Yeah, £101 came off the peg to my left the day before, and £42 came off my peg. Just fast forwarding it so you don't have to watch the whole 2 hours 20 minutes. You know, it will probably be boring. But yeah, I've just missed a bite there. Silverfish. I'm obviously 8 minutes in now and I've got 4 ounces in the net. The guy next to me, Nick, he's got one on the method feeder now, just about to net it. Good fish as well, about £5 by the looks of it. So I'm definitely slipping behind already. But, you know, I'm going to give this meat line as much as tension as I can early. It could just bury and I could be back in it within a second. A minute. No, I'm not fast forwarding me, I'm actually still me. So yeah, I'm now starting to get itchy. I'm thinking about going on that 16 metre line towards the island. Definitely feel that's where I'm going to get a nice run of fish, hopefully, unless it fishes rock hard. So definitely getting a bit agitated now. I'm 11, 12 minutes into the match and I'm still on 4 ounces. So definitely not the greatest start. So definitely going to sack this line off and I'm going to have a look on that meat line long and hopefully it's going to bury instantly. So let's put that rig down and we'll pick up my other rig. We'll just run you through the rigs. Yeah, I was saying my peg yesterday, 44 or 40, I know £35 came off it the day before. And the day before that it was £42 and the day before that £44. Not won a section and not got near winning a section. Peg 48 was dominating that section. Another fish there for Nick on the method. Another £5 carp. So Nick's got £10 at the minute and I'm on 4 ounces. So definitely not the greatest start. We're nearly 15 minutes in and I am on 4 ounces. So, but this is the Match Lake. This is the Match Lake for you. This is what happens. No panicking me at all. I'm not spraying bait. I'm not even picking the catapult up. I'm literally, sometimes this lake, less is best. And I just spilt my my meat shipping out there. So when I come, a couple more pieces of meat in that pot. That's my first ship out at 16 metres. You know what it's like. Sometimes, you get used to where you're positioning your pole and what you need to watch out for a bounce out. It definitely happens to us all. So I'm going on to this 16 metre line now, hoping for a quick response. Probably praying right now for a quick response. Be a nice, I wouldn't say it's a nice simple match, fishing 16 metres, full 16. It's it can take its toll and it can be hard work. But I know what I'm like and I'll definitely have that island in my head, the long line into the island. If needs be, I know, well, I'm pretty certain that's where I'm going to get bites. Let's fast forward. No, that's me. I'm actually doing that. I'm not fast forwarding. I'm back. So, first bite, long. It's now 17 minutes in. And I don't think it's good news. I think it's skimmer bream. Which it looks a decentish skimmer. So I suppose it's not a complete disaster, but it's not what we're looking for. Same again, not the best sign. That's safely in the net. About £2. So I'm on £2, 4 ounces. Which is probably on par with Andy now, because Andy's only had one fish, has he, at the minute? I think he has. Keep that meat going in on that short line. So yeah, definitely not the best signs. a roach on the short line, a skimmer on the long line. Nick's just bringing that method in, nothing on it. You might get to see where Nick's chucking that. He's chucking it real tight to the island next to me. Andy Power, he's got another fish on now, just about to net it. So Andy's into his second fish. Looked a smallish, maybe a Crassio, about a pound. Just fast forward it. And yeah, so second bite, but it's now 21 minutes into the match. You know, the clock is ticking. This is definitely a little bit more what we're after, but it's taking way too long. You know, I was getting silverfish bites, and you know, it looks like an F1 about £2 F1. You know, so very welcome fish, and just keeps me ahead of Andy. So it's very obvious at this point. It is fishing horrendously hard, and you get a gut feeling when you're fishing. You can only find it in your gut, and this is my gut. It's rock, and every fish counts. This early part of the match is going to set yourself up for the later stages of the match. Being an end peg, I am expecting to catch on that 5 metre short line and definitely down my edge. You know, that is going to be, I would say, my banker on the day. Whether it's going to be frantic, I can't see it. No one's broke £50 on this peg yet this week. You know, we're on the 4th day. So I don't think I'm going to need a big weight, but if I could just trickle away and put £20, £30 in my net somehow, I think it would be fantastic going into that last hour with £20 in your net. It's just one of them days. It just felt like, well, no one was catching on the lake. No one. So back out on this meat line, 1.5 metres short, 2 metres short of the island, in just over maybe 2.5 foot, 3 foot of water, I think. And it's definitely not looking good. You know, I'm not getting any signs. Just fast forward this because absolutely nothing's happening. I'll just quickly run you through the rig. I've got on a 4x12 wire stem made by Pollawyn, 016 MIDI low vis mainline to an 014 to an 18 Katana Series 3 Maver hook. Can't get them anymore. And then number 10 shot ZLT. And the same setup for my short line, but with a different hook, and it'll be a Fox Series 2 hook, size 18. Here we go. So Andy Power is now up to his 3rd fish. Can't stop looking at him. Only small again, roughly a pound, £1.5 maybe if he's lucky. They're definitely small fish, but it's really hard going. Not a lot happening. I'm getting itchy here, you can tell. This is it. 35 minutes into the match, and I've got, what have I got in the net? Might be lucky, I might have £5. I don't think Andy's got much more. Time to get on this long line in. I know or feel this is my best chance to catch fish. So, but it's took me 35 minutes to make the decision. And it's a little bit like mugging long line in. You can only do so much. Keep that feed going in on that short line. Not much, a couple of pieces of meat. But I am now putting a little bit in on that 16 metre line just in case I need to go on it. I'm actually putting a little bit more in, I think, by the looks of that. Just in case. It's not a big pot, you know, it's probably 10 pieces in there. There won't be a lot. 6mm cube meat. So I'm putting this in on that long line, which is short of the island, so it's in the slightly deeper water. But you know, I felt like the fish would come onto that line, and they didn't want to play ball. But like I say, they sometimes hug that island. So long lining, you literally swinging your rig into the overgrown bits of grass, and there's brambles over there, there's roots. The only problem is when you hook fish, you need to be quick, because if they run along that bank, they will snap you. They'll snag you up, snap you, they'll make your life a misery. That bank is a little bit over, under the water, a little bit undercut. It can be a nightmare. I'm pretty certain, I'm not 100%, but I'm certain I'll probably have 018 mainline on this to an 016 hook length to an 18 8612 Bettini. You can't get them hooks anymore, but it's like a little small black dark hook with a 6mm pellet on a band. So I'll probably start picking my catty up here. Takes a little bit to get into. You definitely need to get into a bit of a rhythm with this. And if you notice, that pole isn't right on my elbow yet, but it will be, because I'll get braver and braver and get closer and closer to that island. There you go, I'm starting to fire a few 6mm pellets now, and I'm moving my pellets so I'm not stretching as much. Try and get into a comfortable position, firing a couple of pellets, maybe 1, 2, swinging that rig into it. Probably take a while for this to start getting signs on, but nothing else was happening, and the more you plop it, the more noise you make, the more chance you'll have fish come in on it. Just keep plugging away. It takes a big discipline just to keep doing this, but my belief in this working on a rock hard day is pretty up there. I've got a lot of confidence in this method. So keep firing them 6mm in, just a couple. I might up it, might slow it down. It's all just, how you feel on the day, really. No one's catching, no one. Nick next to me hasn't continued to catch on that method feeder. He's got £10 in the net, but he's not catching anything now. Andy Power, he's really struggling. Now, if Andy's struggling, we're all going to struggle, because we know they don't call him the Power for nothing. I'm not sure if I'm pushing that pole a bit closer to my elbow now. Getting closer all the time. Remember, there's got to be a winder to do this. It's worrying me. If the wind got up and I can't do it, then I've just missed my chance. So you need to make the decision as quickly as you can. Andy Power is just about to net another fish. Yeah, putting his net there. Boom. Fish on for me. First bite. And it's just come off. Now, I'm guessing that was a Carasio, because these things do not stay on. You could literally land 1 in 5, or you could land all 5, but they are a bit of a pain. So I was hoping not to catch Carasio, I'll be honest. I was hoping you'll just miss a million bites. I was hoping to catch some carp over there. But it's a sign, and the more signs you get, the more confident you get. Let's go with this bit. So, bit of music. Might put some music on for them bits. So here we go. Just had another sign, missed it. Keep swinging that rig, getting it as close to that bank as you can. Getting that rig as close as you can. And there you go. First fish hooked. Now you've got to pull. Got to get them away from that far bank. And that is clear. Looks a decent fish. I mean, at this point, it's nearly an hour in, 53 minutes, and I'm on £5. Still chucking them bits of meat in, short, not much. It's definitely decent. That is a carp, by the looks of it. In the mouth. I had my chance to net it there and I missed it. Oh, and then I just pulled out of it. Don't cry over spilt milk. That's 2 fish on that line. 2 fish, and I've lost 2. Now, they would have put me right in contention in the section, and now I'm still behind. But you just got to get on with it. It happens, and I won't be the only one. It'll happen to plenty of anglers on this lake, I tell you. So I'm getting more confident. I've hooked 2 fish on this line. I know it's going to go. So back out we go. 16 metres long line into the island. Now, I definitely make it look easy, but I promise you, it takes its toll on your shoulder and your elbow. Keep working at it, keep feeding, keep swinging while that wind allows you to. Someone's bugging me. My phone keeps buzzing in my pocket. So I've fed up with it, so I'm having a look because I think it might be an emergency. So having a quick read of that. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, Mark, get fishing. Right, let's get back on it. Right, get back out there. Right, at this point, I am obviously struggling to see that float, so I'm coming in now. I feel I need to change depth, maybe go slightly deeper. It's a line you can't really plumb up because you can't reach. So the only way of plumbing up is by, pellet and you float. So if your float sinks, you're off the bottom, and if your float cocks, then you're not. So I'm literally greasing my float now so I can see it better, and I'm changing depth. Doesn't take long to change it back. Doesn't take long to change it again. But, you know, just keep going at it. There we go. Fish on. Right. I know what's going through my head right now. Please stay on. You know, because I really need you. Andy's not catching. No one's catching. We're an hour into the match and we've all got nothing. It is fishing horrendous. Every single fish counts. Looks a decent-ish fish. It's giving me a run around, I'll give you that. I didn't pull at it, look, because the last one came off. It looks about £3. Not a bad stamp at all. I couldn't tell you if it was a carp or an F1. I actually can't remember. I think it was a bit of a mixture. I think I caught some F1s and I think I caught some carp. So keep feeding that me at that 5 metre line. Keep working that rig and you will get bites. And there you go, fish on again. Get away from that bank as quick as I can. This is my 4th fish, this. So what are we on now? £8? Andy's probably on £4 or £5. So I'm actually doing alright at the minute. This could be the difference between winning and losing your section later on in the match. If I can gain a little bit of an advantage on Andy, which I need, because he's well, that's a bigger fish, that's pulling me. I'm putting sections back on for that lot. That's having a go. Do not lose that, Mark. Oh, it's going for the far bank, look. Oh, oh. A little way. Yeah, it's away. It's away. That's a good fish, that. That's going to put me right in the section if I can land this. That's exactly what we was looking for. That's a carp. It's not huge. I'm guessing roughly £5. I think I remember this one. I think it was about £5. And that'll take me ahead of Nick now. You know, Nick next to me, who's had 2 fish on the method. I mean, Andy's still not catching. We're an hour and 7 minutes in, and Andy Power is not catching, so he's struggling. But everyone is. Everyone on that lake is struggling at the minute. I'm not sure about the other end of the lake, but I know our end of the lake. It's fishing terrible. I know how important this fish is at this point. Well, I've just let go of that elastic, pulling me. Let go of that puller kit elastic that I just pulled it all out. Let it all go again. It's pulling. Angry carp, this one. I'm doing quite well in the festival at this point. You know, first day I drew peg 20 on keep that feed going in, look. Peg 20 on Trelawney. Lovely peg. I love a peg like that because I can reach the island. I've got a long edge to my right. I ended up with 90 odd pound, and I actually came second on the lake, won my section, so I had a great start. And then the second day, I was on Python. I had Andy Bennett in my section that day, across from me, and I had the wind in my face, and I just felt like I'm not going to beat Andy doing the same thing as Andy, so I just opted to fish short and down the edge all day, and it was a really good area, that. I mean, I never realised at the time how good of an area it was, but now I've been back to White Acres a few times. It is a fantastic area. I ended up with 70 odd pound, won the lake, so won my section, won the lake, and then the third day I was on Belingy. Here you go, look, my fifth fish on. So we're an hour and 15 in, and I've got my fifth fish, and these aren't really small pound fish. These are little weighers. Yeah, I caught a meat down my edge, meat short, and then I caught a maggots to a line down my edge to my left, and I had a brilliant day. It was brilliant. Sorry, I'm going on about Python there. So yeah, just going back to Belingy, I drew peg 19, and I was catching really well under this bush to my right, and I hooked a carp. I was getting into a bit of a rhythm. I hooked this carp, and it was trying to take me around the side of the bridge down this channel. That's about £3. Nice fish, that. And my top kit snapped, and it went straight through my peg, and my peg just didn't come back, and it just didn't recover, and I ended up second in my section, and I didn't need a lot to win my section that day, and I'd have actually been winning the festival. Obviously, that's if I'd have done well in this match, which we're on right now. But I'm doing okay at the minute. You know, I'm trickling away. No one's catching. I'm trickling away. And what are we on now? I don't know, £16 maybe? But, you know, we're ticking away. We're catching an odd fish. Andy's still struggling. You know, he's catching an odd one, but we're an hour and 17 minutes in. Starting to feed a few more pellets there. I'm obviously sorry to interrupt. You're obviously enjoying the video. You're still here, so if you just please like and subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. Get back to the video, enjoy it, and I'll see you soon. Starting to get more confident that they're gonna go to it. There we go, 6 fish on. I'm doing well now, you know, things are going to plan, because I've still got that meat line short, and I've still got my edge, and you know, if I can just make these foundations going into the last hour, you know, it could be you know, difference between winning or losing your section. Another decent fish, really, that. £2.5 pounder-ish, that. So I know me, I'll probably plug away at this for at least 3 hours, at least, before I start thinking about dropping short. And I don't think there's any harm in feeding that edge relatively early because you're an end peg. So you'd be kind of a fool not to. But I've not fed it yet. You go, fish on again. And I think Andy's got a fish on as well at this point. Yeah, just netting it. I think that's Andy Power's 6th fish. Didn't look big, about £1.5. Looks another decent fish for me. Couple of pound. Maybe £2.5. I've lost track now. Don't really know what weight I've got. Still going at this. Andy's in again. Oh, he lost it. Put beat music on. Missed the bite. Fish on. Tense watching this. Go on, Matt. Can't see Andy because of my palm. Go on, son. It looks about a £3 fish. You know, nice little run of fish, really. And I'm not sure if I catch any more on this film. Can't remember. Keep that meat going in, lot. A couple of pieces. Fish on. Oh, it's taking me along that bank, lot. Don't go with it, Mark. Pull it. Pull it. Otherwise you'll lose it anyway. Pull it. Pull it. Don't let it get you. Right, it's got me. That cost you. Could have cost me that. Oh, we're straight back out. Must have been foul hooked. If you pull out of a fish, if you get your hook back, 9 times out of 10 it's foul hooked. And if you snap off, it was in the mouth. Andy Power is in. He's got his 7th fish. And that puts Andy on about £12. They've been relatively small Andys. I'm sure I'll have a maybe £24, £25 at this point. Still chucking a few bits of meat in. Now we're slapping it forwards now to make a louder plop. I know what's going on now. I'm starting to think about feeding that edge. Probably put a tiny amount in. Check the time, Mark. Yeah, time. So just introduce a tiny little bit. I'm sure I put a few maggots in. Just maggots. I felt it was so hard. I didn't want to risk putting anything else in at the minute. And I can remember this. So as I was literally cupping it in, I saw a blondie. So it's like, come back quick. I can see a blondie. So it's like, let's try and mug this blondie. They are so difficult to mug. Honestly, if you get a bite off one, it's a miracle sometimes. I'm probably putting a single maggot on right now. Single maggot on a band. I've got like a really fragile, really light 012, probably 010 dead light elastic. Try and mug this blondie. Be dead careful. Land it right in front of his face. And I got a bite off it. And I missed it. Oh, you ain't getting another chance, Mark. You had it and it's gone. Come on. Come back. Oh yeah, I remember now. And there was and I could see another blondie at about 60 metres down the edge. So gonna have a go for it. You need a miracle to catch one of them. Powers has had one. Yeah, so at this point, I think I've got a roughly about £25 in my net. So I've definitely set myself up for a nice finish to the match, you know, for the last hour and a half. You know, we've still got 2 hours 45 minutes left. No, you don't want it. You don't want it, Mark. You don't want it. Come off it. So back on the long line into the island. I think I had 2 more fish on this before it was done. But that meat line, I think I had maybe 3 fish on the meat line. I definitely had 2 in my edge, and I finished with £54.12, and Andy had £46.6. Nick next to me, he ended up with £21. He caught a few late on his short line as well. But Andy, you know, he came on in that last hour. He was catching shallow. He was coming at me fast. He had a really late run, Andy. Probably caught about £30 in that last hour. Put the jitters on me a bit. But I held him off, managed to win the section. So definitely the right thing to do on the day was the early part of that match and making the decision to long line to the island. I hope you've enjoyed this, and I hope you've enjoyed, and I hope you've learned something. But trust me, it'll hurt your elbow. I ended up 9th in the festival, which ain't too bad, you know, a top 10. I think Andy was 8th, something like that. He just beat me. But yeah, you know, great festival. Great to have battles with Andy Power and Andy Bennett. These lads are the best in the game. So I enjoyed it. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you like this video, please subscribe. Let me know what you want, you know. Please like and support the channel. Walking Carrot Productions, NETFISH. See you next time. Tight lines.